Legends tell of an ancient Roblox YouTuber, but for literally no reason, a month ago, he fucking vanished, leaving his audience to wonder, where is Noble?
I remembered my YouTube password. As viewers of the Noble channel may know, I've been covering Roblox games for quite some time now. It's genuinely crazy to think that it's been almost 2 years, but that's where we're at. Throughout my time covering Roblox on this channel, I'd say my channel went through different phases, and there's definitely some stuff that I did back then that I definitely wish that I didn't do. Stuff like random giveaways or like sub for build, like stuff that doesn't really help my audience or improve me as a content creator and only really exists to artificially inflate my sub count. At least for me, when I got into YouTube, my goal has always been to build an audience that likes me for me and the content I make. And I found that doing stuff like that just wasn't conducive towards that goal. One thing that falls into that category that I myself am actively trying to break away from is ragebait / outrage farming content. Stuff like the pee poo poo situation is crazy, or like David Hasselhoff is finished. The way I see it, when you create content like this and mass farm outrage, the audience you're building isn't really one that's there for you. They're there for the fucking constant outrage you're mainlining onto their timeline. And the second that's not there, they won't be either. The other issue with this kind of content, and the one that leads me to the crux of my video, is just the negativity, harassment, bullying, and just bad behavior this content and the people who make it seem to have normalized in the community. Without any further beating around the bush, today I want to talk about Balboa. His bad behavior over multiple years, the insanely toxic community he's cultivated, the consequences this has had on the Roblox space at large, and also try to have a macro conversation about Ragebait as a whole. So if that's a topic that interests you, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the Noble channel, and without further ado, let's get right into the content. This might seem weird or like some nerd shit, but I want to start off this video with a definition. Ragebait, at least in the online sense, refers to content specifically designed to garner outrage and negative reactions for the purpose of engagement farming. I don't know how many people in my audience can relate to this, but it feels like no matter where you go online in 2025, you just can't escape Ragebait. It's just a part of life now. On YouTube, you got dorks like Asmon Golden the Quartering. On Twitter, you got losers like Grums and one of the various other blue check marks. And in Roblox anime YouTube, we've got Balboa. Now, one thing in common among all of the Ragebait merchants that I just mentioned is that they truly do not give a shit about the thing that they're talking about, and intentionally or not, cause a lot of damage to the communities that they infiltrate. For quite some time, I've put off talking about Balboa because at this point in my life, spending even a second thinking about Roblox YouTuber drama is just utterly unproductive. Also, his channel is like 15 times the size of mine, and I just didn't feel like getting dogpiled by a bunch of unemployed 14-year-olds who do nothing but play type soul all day. I think what finally made me muster up the serenity to make this video though is Balboa's conduct throughout the entire Rune Slayer saga, which when you really think about it, it's just a continuation of a pattern of behavior. The only real difference is this time, I would feel kind of irresponsible if I didn't talk about it. To get into Balboa's behavior during Rune Slayer and beyond, we need to get into what it is that Balboa does. See, on the surface, me and Balboa aren't that dissimilar. We both primarily do fucking commentary content. We both hook you in with an interesting premise like type soul is dead, number 17. Maybe we'll throw some gameplay in there. If we're really feeling bodacious and spicy, we'll throw a fucking image up on screen or something. I feel like at a certain point though, the paths start to diverge greatly. And after watching a few Balboa videos, you start to notice a pattern. Balboa doesn't really cover games, at least in the traditional sense. He doesn't seem to have any care or consideration for the games he plays, the people who work on them, or the people who play them. He is by every definition of the word a tourist. The Balboa formula is simple. You get into a game, leverage your following to get boosted by the devs, farm infinite drama, and when there's no more drama to be farmed, make it up. The weirdest part about all of this is he does it this weird mix of indifference and like intensity. It's like he wants you to really know that the game is dying, but also he really doesn't care that the game is dying, but he really wants you to know that it's dying. Like I said earlier, I feel like Rune Slayer is the perfect case study on the Balboa formula because it really exemplifies what it is that this guy does. With Rune Slayer, this fucking loser didn't even wait. He instantly started with the Ragebait content, and he just kept farming until he was banned from the game. I remember Balboa's ban specifically because I was also banned from Rune Slayer around the same time. I was false banned, as anyone who watched the video knew, and I had nothing to hide, so I just laid out all the information. If you watch Balboa's video on why he got banned though, he's kind of just obfuscating the whole time. He never gives you a direct reason, and you're kind of just left to assume that he got banned for no reason. I don't really buy that. And I don't think that nigga does either. Like, let's do the mental math here, Balboa. Like, you're you, bro. You're Balboa. You're a fucking dork, blood-sucking, degenerate parasite who hops from game to game, farming drama until there's nothing left to be farmed. I wouldn't want you in my fucking community either. I left a comment on that video and I said, I'm not gonna lie to you, gang. You probably shouldn't have been banned for no reason. And I don't agree with it, but it's kind of weird to pretend like people in the Roblox community don't have a reason to dislike you. With every single game you cover, you get the basic guides out and immediately start outrage farming for the most benign drama of all time, dragging it until people stop clicking. Like I said before, I don't agree with the ban, but when the majority of your output is senseless negativity while adding literally nothing to the conversation, I wouldn't blame the devs for not wanting you in their community. Now, like me, Balboa would be unbanned from the game. God knows why, y'all clearly banned his shit for a reason, but I digress. He then went on to do exactly what it is that Balboa does until the shutdown, with hit videos like, is Rune Slayer already dying? Now, post-shutdown, Rune Slayer had a lot of issues. I'll be the first to admit that. I even made a video about it. A lot of people made videos about it, in fact. Revolver AGZ, Man of No Words, we all made videos about it. Very few people, I think, though, made 12. I like to think that by watching my video, or one of the various other content creations I mentioned who are all fantastic, you start to get a sense that they all have a stake in this. We all have a stake in this. None of these videos come from a place of hatred or wanting failure for the game, because I like to think, at least among content creators, there's a shared understanding that at least on some level, if these games don't succeed, then neither do we. But when you watch a Balboa video, you start to notice a complete lack of any of this care, and it's honestly extremely jarring to me. At this point in the timeline, like I said, Rune Slayer had re-released, and once again, Balboa was banned from the game, this time by Zookle, with the explicit reason of being a fucking loser and farming Ragebait the second the game opened. And even before the game opened, he was oh my, this guy is such a loser. The thing is though that, like, instead of reflecting and thinking, doing some soul searching, and probably coming to the conclusion that he is a loser, Balboa doubled down. This guy, instead of changing his behavior and being normal, went to a random guy that he knew and asked him to dig up dirt on the development team to try to get unbanned. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys. A lot of the stuff that random guy Balboa hired found was kind of crazy. Like, the devs were using slurs, hard R, F slur, R slur, some typical Roblox dev freak shit that, you know, just we've become all too familiar with at this point. Stuff that I don't mess with, stuff that I don't condone. But something about this whole situation kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. First off, the fact that you waited for something bad to happen to you to release this information is not only deeply concerning, but also shows a lot about you as a person. A lot of this stuff was also extremely old, about type soul devs, or devs who didn't even work on the game anymore. This nigga also opened the video by saying that he DM'd the mod with this information in case that the devs wanted to unban him. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am incapable of suspending my disbelief enough to somehow come to the conclusion that frequent slur N-word user Balboa somehow gives a shit about other people's slur usage. Like, that's really, I don't see that. Literally in the video, you're on record saying yourself, no one really gives a shit about the R word. The way it looks to me, just being pragmatic and honest here, is that you, Balboa, are a principleless, vindictive sack of shit who was willing to weaponize potentially serious allegations to get unbanned from a Roblox game that you were banned from for a good reason. Now, Balboa, realizing that he probably wasn't going to get unbanned, decided to turn his crosshairs towards the community manager of Rune Slayer, Zookle, in an attempt to start a harassment campaign against him. I'm going to tell you guys a little story right now. When this channel, the Noble channel, was at 400 subscribers or less, Zookle helped me out in a big way a way that he probably doesn't even remember. Zookle has also helped out my friends who struggled with content creation and motivation issues. In a space like this, where niggas will find the keys to success and actively lock the door behind them, Zookle is someone who does not do that and will actively help you if you need it. And I will always respect that nigga for that. And I think that's why the way this fucking loser targeted Zookle pissed me off so much. I'm willing to hear out criticisms of Zookle posting early content or like farming shorts or even playing during the shutdown. I'll hear you out. I'll hear out anybody. I don't agree, but I'll hear you out. I'll hear out anybody whose name isn't Balboa. The same Balboa who, when the game re-released, didn't even fucking play it and immediately jumped to make 2 videos shitting on it. Even after this fucking dork finally got around to playing the game and getting his Tundra guides out, he didn't even play it. Even then he didn't play it. He got boosted by the devs. I feel like the funniest part of this whole like Zookle beef that Balboa entirely made up and manufactured by himself though is the fact that he tried to prop himself up to become the new community manager. It was like one of those rare things that like was, at least to me, it was indistinguishable from a bit. Like it sounded like he was joking. And like especially it's like, why you, man? No one likes you. You're a loser grifter. You cause issues everywhere you go. Why the fuck would they pick you? I recently spoke to a member of the Rune Slayer team who no longer works on the game. And I remember asking them why it is that they quit. And while they didn't directly cite Balboa as a reason, they did mention that the harassment and just the negative reputation he caused for them was a big reason why they quit. This person did nothing wrong. They were a victim. And even though I don't have the connections to prove this, I'd go as far as to say there's people who feel like this in every single game that this fucking asshole covers. And they just don't have the platform to air him out. And even if they did, they don't want to risk the harassment from his army of fucking 8-year-olds. I personally am tired of it, and I'm tired of seeing the names of innocent people dragged through the mud by this fucking loser just so he can grift a few dollars. I'm just glad that people are finally waking up to the fact that this guy is just not a force for good in the space. So much so that Type Soul appears to have tactically pre-banned this nigga, which I find to be so funny. And again, man, instead of reflecting or like doing some soul searching, this nigga just went right back to doing what it is that he does. I feel like I've dunked on Balboa enough in this video, but on the off chance that he sees this video or even makes it to the end of it, I want to leave a special message specifically for you, nigga. Do you genuinely think the people who watch your videos are interested in you, your personality, your funny commentary, or anything that you actually have to say? I'm willing to wager that even you know that nobody really gives a shit about you. The fucking robot outrage tourists who eat up all of your slop aren't fans of Balboa because nobody is. They're fans of the fucking constant drama that you're mainlining into their veins, and the second that that's not there, they won't be either, buddy. I'm not making this video for you to change your behavior or try to be a normal person, because after what I've seen from the last year and a half, I've just come to the conclusion that you're incapable. So at least the next best thing for me is to make sure that Roblox devs and YouTube viewers know to stay clear from your fucking weird ass, and I hope to fucking Jehovah that I accomplished that mission. Like and subscribe to the Noble channel, and I'll see y'all later.